Hey, it's Matthew from That's Matthew, and you're watching Disney Channel. Wow, that's more like it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another spooky episode of That's So Matthew. Today, I am very, very excited to have a super special guest here on the podcast with me. Say hi and introduce yourself to the listeners.
Hello, I am DJ Bob Runkle. I'm technically a repeat guest, but this time I'm flying solo. Our friend Allison isn't here this time around. She was with us when I was last year doing Stuck in the Suburbs. So I'm glad to be back.
I am so glad to have you back. And yes, we love Allison on the podcast. And we did our Stuck in the Suburbs episode, probably almost 5-6 months ago already, which is kind of crazy. We've come a long way.
You know, it's weird because we haven't stopped talking. We are, I would consider us like closer than we were then.
I didn't even know who you were at that point, to be honest with you. But now we're friends.
Yeah, and then I was like, you know what? This dude's graphics are really good. You think he can add something to our podcast? So you're kind of on the DJ Bob Show team too, and I really appreciate that.
Of course. I'm always working on my graphic designs, trying to make them better. So working with you has been super exciting. And if you guys do not already follow the DJ Bob Show on Instagram and check out the new episodes, what are you doing? I will make sure to link that below in the show notes so that you guys can stay up to date with all the fun DJ Bob stuff that I work on with Bob and his awesome guests. You've got some pretty cool ones coming on. So I think everyone will enjoy them for sure, especially the Disney fans that are listening to this episode.
That's what we do. I mean, I'm always trying to push the envelope and kind of like there are people that you would expect me to have on, and then they're like, oh yeah, that person from that commercial from 25 years. Like, what? Okay. So it's just the DJ Bob Show is not it's more or less my brain in podcast form, because that's just me. I just want to know more about things that people might not care about. Pretty much like this movie that we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yes. Which I just want to start off by saying I had never seen this movie before. It was one of the last Halloween DCOMs I've ever talked about. And it was a ride.
Yeah, it was. And I've gathered some fun facts or fun assumptions, because none of it is on record for this movie. Because you can find all these different facts about Xenon and name your famous DCOM and you'll get a fact. But there aren't a lot. But I'm assuming that this one was partially filmed in Canada, because a lot of them are.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is the main character was either before or after this one of the voices of Arthur on PBS.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? I knew his name for that reason, and I'm like, oh my god, that's him. And this, for being such a interesting film, as we'll get into, it has such a talented cast that I'm kind of shocked that it turned out the way it did, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, like I said, went into this knowing like nothing. And let me tell you, it definitely was something. I feel like it was one of the most interesting DCOMs I've ever watched. Uh,
Here's what I got out of it. And this is the best analogy I could give you for this film. You know how when you're a kid and you you're drawing a picture on the wall and it stays there for years and your your parent or is begging you desperately to try to get it off the wall using every type of like removal that get tax. I'm I haven't seen this movie in well, this is my first time seeing it, but I haven't watched it since I watched it like 2 weeks ago. So, and there are memories that still seep into my brain. It was so interesting.
I also have not watched it in, I think so. If you watched it like 2 weeks ago, then I probably watched it 3 weeks ago. So we are going off of memory.
This is gonna be fun. Let's go.
All right. So honestly, let's get into our first character, Mark Rendell's character, who is the guy that went on to voice Arthur. Right?
I think it was either before this or after. I'm not sure, but I knew his name. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
I just looked it up, and it looks like this. He voiced Arthur in seasons 7 and 8, so 2002 to 2003. So this was around the same time, actually.
Might have been doing that at the same time, because I know that they recorded that stuff in Montreal. So again, Canada. But I liked his character in this.
I did too. I was just gonna say he was one of the characters that I actually was like invested in weirdly, because this plot, I guess I should just give an overview, is about these two children who moved to this random town where their grandfather has died. And so it's all about like ghosts, and they think that their grandfather is like trying to tell them something, and they come across several ghosts, I guess you could say, that are trying to enter heaven, but they can't because they need to redeem themselves.
What, in theory, sounds like a good plot.
Yes, in theory it does.
But execution, 0 out of 10. I'm sorry.
I agree. It was really like, you're right. The plot sounds so good, but I feel like I don't know what it was, but it just wasn't there for me.
But I also want to point out that this was, I think this was the director's only DCOM he ever did, or one of the only ones he did. So it kind of shows, and it probably tells you why he didn't do it again.
Unfortunately, I think you're probably right. I don't really know what kind of category this fits into as a DCOM. Like, it's not high school life. It's just its own thing.
But I also feel like it's like, okay, we need a Halloween movie to fill the schedule. We don't want to air the Halloween time movie again. So we need something new. You know?
Yeah. It does feel a little like rushed or incomplete in a weird way.
I learned not to promote my podcast ad nauseum, but I interviewed Spencer Breslin, and we talked about like him shooting You Wish, I think it was, and he said that those things are like a 3 to 6 week shoot.
Yeah.
They're quick. And I think You Wish was 6 weeks because they were in New Zealand for that. But it just shows you. But sometimes that short time frame works. Other times, like this, it just falls flat.
Yeah. So as you can see, we're not huge fans, but character-wise, I really did enjoy Ian. Ian, I think he just kind of has a little bit of like an adventurous side as like a kid, like considering
Yeah.
that there's literally ghosts coming to Earth to like redeem themselves, I
I
guess.
always like characters with, no matter how old they are, with childlike wonder. Like I just like they're more rootable. Like you can
Yeah,
root for them more, and it it really, I like him. Yeah.
I do too. I think it's just the like you're right, like the child, like adventurous personality, like the persona that he takes on is really interesting in that sense because it doesn't feel like a kids movie, but he's bringing like the kids movie kind of vibes almost.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's great in it, and I'd love to talk to him one day and ask him about this. 'Cause it's interesting.
Yeah, it is definitely quite the time. And yeah. Now his sister Claire, I don't know. I feel like I didn't like her as much, but like I didn't not like her. It was kind of just like a very neutral character for me.
Yeah, I mean, and this actress hasn't done anything since. Of course, sarcasm is heaping right through that statement. Kat Dennings, I mean, but she was, they, they all did good with what they were given.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I liked her character. I thought she was sort of like, not, she was sort of like in on the joke, but not really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like, okay, this is here. But again, such a good cast.
Yeah. But they didn't use it very well, I think.
Like, I don't know whose fault that is. I feel like I'm slamming this movie too much, but it's like, why? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
All right.
it didn't execute itself very well.
No, and there's another person on this cast list that I have many comments for. Um,
Well,
and
I'm excited.
if I could jump right in
Sure.
to that. So, Eric Idle. I don't know if we're going in order but I love Eric Idle. And I think he had perfect casting. Like he's in like the iconic sketch comedy group Monty Python and the Holy Grail, or Monty Python, and he was in a movie. He wrote like Spam-A-Lot for Broadway, and based on Monty Python stuff. And when I saw him, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a ride, and indeed it was. So what were your thoughts on him?
Okay, I did like his character. I thought he was one of the more interesting
Yeah,
ghosts.
I love that.
He was also like a revolutionary soldier, and I thought that was like super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there was, dare I say it, there was thinking involved, and there was thought, and I really like that.
I think if I had to pick like a ghost of the Scream team, I guess you could call them, I would pick Eric Idle's character, Coffin Ed.
I love that. I mean, I was so like, even before I watched it, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be the star of this movie.
He wasn't, but he was doing a pretty good job.
Yeah,
With like you
and
said, like with what he was given, I think he did a very good job.
yeah.
Now I guess I just wanted to jump into this next one because Kathy's character Mariah.
Oh,
I will just
I
say
love this actress though.
I love Kathy, love her to death. You know, Hocus Pocus, Sister Act 2. She was I think she was in Descendants.
I feel wasn't she on like SNL for years too?
Yeah, SNL. She's literally been on everything, probably
Like
on this planet.
comedy icon. Like because you know me because you hang out with me week to week. You know how well versed I am in pop culture. So when I saw her name on the list, I'm like, okay, yes, I know we're getting, and that's what we got.
Yeah, she has done quite the list. She has also been in like the Tinkerbell movie Sweet Life. I believe she was in That's a Raven for an episode. So she's been around. She's done some Disney Channel and Disney stuff. But her character, I'm sorry, was just probably my least favorite of the ghosts.
Again, I was so looking forward to her,
Me too.
but it was just so dry and uninteresting. I'm so sorry to the person to anybody that worked on this film that may be listening. I love you. I support you.
I agree. I support you, but what was that?
Yeah, and I mean, again, on paper it sounds great, but this is just, yeah. I was looking forward to her. I was looking forward to a bunch of like the character in this movie. Then I watch it, I'm like, that's it.
I mean, I think my problem with like Mariah was that she's a ghost and they are like going through the mirror towards the beginning and it's like supposed to lead to like the afterlife or whatever. And she's like not okay with them going into the said afterlife, which I'm very confused because isn't she like a ghost too who probably wants to go to the afterlife? Like, isn't that the whole point of the movie?
That's what I was thinking.
Like, I'm so confused. And like her character,
I literally
a dead bride,
well,
is so basic.
I literally said, why are you complaining? Like, stop.
It's so basic, like a dead bride, like that's been done.
And it's probably been done since almost 20 years after the fact.
Yeah, I just was really disappointed that like you got Kathy. Kathy is an icon, and this is what we're getting Mariah the dead bride.
Yeah. It was just, oh, yeah.
Now I guess the next ghost wasn't horrible. And that was Tommy Davidson's character Jumper.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know my boy, Oscar Proud. I'm sorry. When I saw he was in this movie, I was hype. I was like, yay! He did not disappoint.
He did not actually. Okay, because low key, his story is probably like the most boring because like he's just like a jumper that has jumped out of like a plane, like a dead skydiver, I guess you could say. And his name is Jumper, which is kind of funny because he jumped out of the plane.
Yeah, punny, yeah, pun, yeah. Okay.
But it was very. His character wasn't given him much to work with, but he delivered.
Okay, so this is a little controversial. So about a year and a half after this, Disney made a Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of this cast could be in that movie and it'd be alright.
Yeah.
Him being one of them. Like, a lot of it is just misplaced.
I think that this movie, you're right. Like, I feel like it just would have been better. I don't know with like what, but it just feels filler and like they could all work very well in the Haunted Mansion movie. You're very correct on that.
Like, I think, okay, and my thinking behind that is, I think Tommy Davidson, Eddie Murphy, like, not comparing the two, but it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's Tommy.
Yeah. No, I didn't hate I didn't hate it. I did not.
No, I didn't.
The story was just it had room for improvement. I think that's the best way to put it. Like the
But
storyline, like we said, potential.
yeah, I mean, like again, it's not like the movie itself is like it's not like the plot is bad, the act. No, it's execution.
Yeah. Yeah. I could get behind on that one.
Yeah, and again, yeah, it's such a talented cast who work with what they're given, and works within a budget and a time frame, and this is what you get.
Mm-hmm. Now, I guess like probably one of my more like final characters is there is this guy named Zachariah Cull who is supposed to be like the mysterious man, I guess, of the
Okay,
movie.
all right, okay. This was just. I know you're waiting for me to have this like thought out analysis on this character, but I'm just gonna say it in a sentence. This was just weird.
You're right. It was really like out of place. Like I felt like it did not fit in with anything else that they were trying to
Okay, so
accomplish.
it was literally like, should I be watching this? Should I not? Like,
It was so like I think my biggest problem with it was the fact that they were like really like trying to like destroy him and like get rid of him. But like he really didn't have that much to do with anything. Like he was just this old kind of suspicious creepy man.
I mean, yeah, it was just out of place.
Like I didn't hate him, but it was just I thought that there could have been like a
No,
better
but it's just like why,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
It was weird, I guess. But I guess the only way that we can really get to the bottom of this movie and it's really interesting like execution is by talking about the plot in detail, which is something I'm slightly scared to do
Okay,
because
cause honestly, I, I mean, I remember it, but I don't like. So we're gonna go on this journey together because it's
yeah,
like,
no, we are going to go on this journey together and it's going to be so fun.
yeah.
And we're gonna just talk about it and talk about our thoughts. I definitely have a lot of them. So you
Oh
guys
yeah,
at
me.
home listening better be ready because it's gonna be quite the time. Like we said, Ian and Claire, brother and sister, move into this town where their grandfather has just died. And so, like normal newly dead people, they're gonna start thinking about ghosts, I guess. And so Ian is like, oh, we've moved here. Grandpa's like trying to tell us something. So great, fine, whatever. It's classic ghost storyline. So they find some newspaper clippings about this guy named Zachariah Cull who apparently burned his house. I remember this because I wrote it down in my notes and I was like, well, what is going on? It did not feel Disney Channel at all.
No, and like, huh? What is this?
Yeah.
I was so confused.
I was very confused too because it was like at this point, I was like, it's still pretty early on, but I was like, what does this have to do with this movie?
Like, I could totally pick like the writer's room. Like, we're both okay. Let's just throw Ken together.
Yeah, let's just put something together and call it a day. That's what it felt
And
like.
can we just? I need to stop you at one thing. So, my my thing that makes a good DCOM is that you can't tell when it was made,
Oh, that's a good one.
and this one, just by the fact that they're finding newspaper clippings, not to say that people don't do that, but it's a little dated.
It did feel dated. And this is only 2002, but it felt like early 90s almost.
Or even like I feel like I feel, and this could be this is a theory that I have. Do you think that this script was written years before, potentially 97, 98, 99, scrapped, and then brought back? Because it feels older.
You might be onto something. You're right. It does. Like the entire time I couldn't like figure out what it was. But you know what? It's possible. Like I don't really know what the process would have looked like for that.
Cause people have those ideas all the time where they just come up with, they just have something in their archives that they dig out.
I don't know. I like this theory. I think we're onto something with that.
Cause that happened before with other things. I'm not talking out of like nothing, you know?
Yeah. Well, I guess let's just keep going and see how we feel from there. So at this point, I'm already confused. And so if I couldn't get any more confused, they're going to introduce 3 random ghosts.
Yeah, let's just do it.
We've got Jumper, the skydiver, Coffin Ed, the revolutionary soldier, and Mariah, the dead bride. So they come across them, they capture them, and they like put them into like the forest and an abandoned building where they find like the mirror, which is where we meet Mariah, and she's like all pissed off because they're walking through the mirror. Don't you want to walk through the mirror too? Like I was so confused.
Yeah, I was like, girl, calm down.
I was really at this point, I was really confused because they're like, oh, that leads to like the afterlife, or it's kind of like assumed. And they're called the Soul Patrol.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay, we're gonna take a diverge. We're gonna diverge from that for a second. This is something I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
I'm so glad that you went here. So, as a child, I was a big American Idol fan.
Okay.
And there was this contestant by the name of Taylor Hicks. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He was like this not bald guy, but he was like, just look him up first of all. Can we take it? I'm getting to something. Just follow me.
I'm following. I'm listening. I'm curious.
So look up Taylor Hicks on Wikipedia.
Okay.
So pull up. All right. So describe to the listeners a picture of this person just for reference.
He looks like a basic Hollywood music producer. A basic white Hollywood producer with white hair.
Now, if you do a separate search and you look up his fan club name, I think it's the Soul Patrol.
It is the Soul Patrol.
Do you see why I brought him up?
Yeah, because okay, hot take. I feel like the Soul Patrol would have been a better name than the Scream Team. Because essentially it's the same thing.
Yeah.
That is really funny. But I want to know where the Taylor Hicks fans got this Soul Patrol.
And I heard that I'm like, Soul Patrol, Taylor Hicks?
I mean, maybe he was just going to come in as the next ghost.
He won Idol in 2006, so it was a little bit after, but like...
That's really funny. Because it is random. Like, I feel like if they wanted to say, like, the Soul Patrol, they should have just, like, use that as the title?
And it's not like he's sitting there watching Disney Channel, watching the screen. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
moving
did
on.
find it was very funny, to be honest with you. That like whole like scene of the afterlife. And so they ended up with like these jobs, and they're supposed to be like waiting for their turn to cross over into the afterlife, like go through the mirror, cause the trouble that Mariah just hates, I guess.
Yeah, is it wrong that I was getting a bootleg version of Inside Out here?
It did, you know what? It did feel like that. So I will accept that as
Like I
a
like
discussion.
wait, they can Inside Out live action in the afterlife.
You know
Is that what we're doing? Okay.
Let's make it happen, I guess. No, it's just this movie, just every time something happened, I was like, what is going on? And so that's what happens now, because we go into this like the grandfather needs to complete anything he wants finished before moving on. And so they believe that Zachariah has kidnapped him to increase his powers. First off, ghosts having powers, question mark.
Question mark? Yeah, like
I was
what?
really lost, I'll be honest. And so they join forces with the Soul Patrol to like destroy him and like whatever. And it's so weird because we have this super interesting fight scene with like Mariah and Jumper and everyone. And so it was really weird because he's got like fireballs. Like this is like Pitbull or something. And
Oh my, really?
he has a whole song about fireballs. I just had to say it.
Yes, fireball. Oh, yeah.
And so I was really intrigued because apparently Zachariah was never like really the villain. He was just misunderstood. And one of his I wrote something about gas in my notes. So I think if I remember, he was like a gas like worker, and one of his experiments or something ended up burning his wife, not like him purposefully burning his wife.
What the? Okay. Yeah, this movie.
Yeah, it was quite the episode.
Like, I literally felt like I'm like, is, is this okay to watch? Like there were like things where like, are we sure that this happened? Like,
It just was very different than like any other movie that we'd seen, and I guess that's what kind of got me.
oh yeah.
Well, now that Zachariah is out of the way, he told his wife to not wait for him or something. I wrote something about waiting in my notes. And so she must have crossed over. But he wasn't able to cross over because he needs revenge. So he wasn't like cleansed enough, I guess, to cross over.
Yeah, and this week before the juice cleanse craze of the 2010. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very very interesting because
Yeah.
now we have like this very interesting plot line that the wife did not actually cross over. And Claire and Ian help like reveal to him that she didn't cross over, and then he releases them all and moves on. And so Zachariah is like
Okay,
out of
hold
the
up.
way.
Okay. What do these kids? What do these kids know about, like revealing? Like, why do many times in DCOMs they have kids revealing adult themes and adult problems? Like, You ever notice that?
Yeah. How did the kids know? I don't even remember, and I don't really think they ever gave us an explanation either.
And I'd sit there and I'd rewatch it like
I
after
don't
we
have
got
any want to rewatch this.
no, and it's like I'm just okay. One of my one of my friends, this is her favorite DCOM.
Really?
Like she loves it, like watching it every. And I'm like, when she told me, I'm like, first of all, what even is this? I had to look it up.
Oh my gosh.
Like she, and she gives like these. She's like, oh my, it's so fun, it's so good. I'm like, okay, and I hadn't seen it until now, and I texted her and I'm like, to each his own.
No, because I'm very curious that this is like you say that it's her favorite because wow. Wow.
One of the things she always says is that the cast is so good, and I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, but favorite?
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far.
Like, I like Stuck in the Suburbs, but it's not my favorite. Like there are some movies that are just movies that exist and are good. This doesn't even fall into that category.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I don't
I'm
really.
so sorry to anybody who worked on it that is listening.
It's just not my favorite.
I was like, is this happening? Yeah, but go on.
All right. So next up, so Zechariah is gone. And now the children return home and the grandfather's spirit is waiting for them. So the soul patrol is back and they're gonna like help him take care of whatever he needs to so that he can cross over. So the father of the children is suddenly with them. And he is saying he never told his son that he was proud of him. So he needs to tell his son that he's proud of him.
Okay, we need the heartfelt. Okay.
And so he does that. And it was very interesting. He catches up with his son before he goes on to the afterlife, which is super weird. But then eventually he does like go on. And so it's very interesting because now like the whole plot of the movie is like done, but the family like stays in the town, which is really interesting.
Now, if I can say this, I was here for this part. Like I was like, okay, this is proper Disney Channel. We're getting to it.
I liked this part.
Yeah.
I thought it was cute. I thought it was like heartwarming, like you said. Like I didn't really have a problem with it.
No, I liked it.
No,
It's
I did too.
It's expected, but sometimes you need something that's expected.
Yeah. No, I really did. I did not hate it. I thought it was nice. I thought it was a nice little scene.
Yeah.
And now at this point, I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's done. Well, no, the Soul Patrol comes back for like one final hurrah. And we only see 2/3 of the Snow Patrol because Mariah, the bride, is off doing something else. And so they she's
I
like,
just want to point out that you said Snow Patrol.
oh, did I really?
Yes.
Oops. Soul Patrol. That's really funny.
That's how kindly you think of this film.
Mm-hmm. I think Snow Patrol is like an artist or something. I don't know. It's just stuck in my head now.
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, I'm almost done working with you. And so like I'm assuming it's because she's gonna go on to the afterlife. So she kind of goes on and That's about it with her. And then Ed at the end goes and carves pumpkins with some invention. And one of the final lines is I saw this in some synopsises. I wrote this down, and it's like there are some advantages to being dead.
What? Okay. Whoa. All right. What kind of message are you trying to?
I don't know what the message is, to be honest with you. I'm confused.
Answer: there is none.
It was really weird.
Yeah. It was. It was weird. Like, why would you say that on the King's film? You know?
And it didn't make any sense really, besides the fact that they were ghosts. Like, I didn't think there was anything that really like made it necessary for them to say.
Yeah. I believe what I said when that line came up. I said, real nice, Disney Channel, real nice.
Real nice. It is real nice. Yeah. That's what I have. That's what we have to say, everyone. Now,
Yeah.
I know you guys are all so excited to hear our rating for the movie. So
okay, well, okay. One thing we didn't get to. We didn't talk about the VFX in this movie, the visual effects in this movie.
Oh. Interesting.
Okay, now, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was okay. I mean, we've seen some pretty bad stuff from Disney, and that's a fact. I didn't think it was the worst, but it could have been better.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to just say this by prefacing. One of the most recent things I watched after this was the Muppets Haunted Mansion special on Disney.
So good.
You saw it?
I thought it was really good. I thought it was cute. I love the Haunted Mansion. I love the Muppets.
I mean, and because I know a bunch of those guys that work on that, and to think that special was written over Zoom during quarantine and shot, and I think in like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
How amazing the visual effects were in that. I thought back to this, and this was not that. I know time has moved on, but like, come on.
It was interesting, to say the least. I guess, want to say that I think that it could have been worse. I think it could have been much better, but I'm gonna have to give it like a 4 out of 10, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Yeah, maybe like a 3.5, a 4, maybe like I think like a 3.5 or a 4.
And
I guess my problem is just it wasn't good.
For like a word, for like, if I could rank it in a sentence, it's like, you had all of this stuff, all this great stuff. Why didn't you use it to its full potential?
Like the cast?
Yeah.
I think that it missed the mark. Lots of potential. I still think there is potential, but
I mean, and I think they did a Christmas movie like after this. It might have been a year before, but Twas the Night.
Oh yeah.
I think that was this year or the year before that.
I don't really remember, to be honest.
But even that one,
I'll look it up.
That was great. I love that. So I guess it depends on the team and the people working on it. Because I'm sure that you're done simultaneously.
Yeah. Twas the Night came out, I believe it was 2001. So this was a year afterwards.
Yeah. Because I know 2002 had a lot of DCOMs. and a lot of them are great.
Not this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that. I hope
Yeah.
everyone enjoyed that one. This turns out to be our last spooky season episode for 2021. So I think we saved a very interesting one for last.
Yeah, not the very best for last, but the very disjointed for last.
No, I did. I thought it was very interesting, and I will give it credit where it was due. And
You gotta admit, it was disjointed.
Yeah, that's about what I have to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that I'm here to talk about it with you because
I thought we had a good time.
yeah,
It wasn't a good movie, but we had a good time.
yeah. It was just, yeah.
Well, that was very fun. So thank you so much for joining me. I had a blast. I hope everyone listening enjoyed our little rants about this movie.
I've been looking forward to this.
Me too. And we did it. And now we can say that we did it. And we talked about a very interesting DCOM.
And I'm already inviting myself back.
Oh, you're invited back. You don't have to invite yourself. I'll invite you right now. You're most definitely invited back.
Awesome.
But where can everyone find your podcast and support you and your show?
Well, we are all over the socials, and quite frankly, we are not the best at the social media, but we're trying. We're chugging along. But for the best way, you can head to djbobshow.com and your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, iTunes, all the major ones except for Google. We're working on that.
It's a work in progress.
And yeah, I mean, we've got a ton of great stuff coming. I can't say what, because
it's a secret. They'll just have to find out themselves.
Then you would be a ghost, and then you would have to help these kids and not our talented cast here. But yeah, I mean, and I gotta be honest, it's such a thrill to be able to talk to you and talk about this and be able to work with you since we first met months and months back. So this has been great.
Yeah, it's been great, and this is our second episode together. Very, very exciting, and I had a great time as well. So thank you so much. And just like Bob, we're on all the socials at That's So Matthew. Find us there, and you can check out our website, that'ssomatthew.com, for all the fun stuff on there, because you know how much I love my website. I talk about it all the time, so I don't need to talk about it more. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the spooky season episodes too, though, for Halloween, because it is my personal favorite time of the year. So, but that does not stray away from the Christmas episodes that are going to be coming this year, the holiday episodes.
Okay, yeah, that's my vibe.
It's going to be good. I don't know what's coming, but I can just feel it. It's going to be good. And yeah, so stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in another episode again soon. Bye.
Bye.